Hello, my name's Alistair Mordy. I'm the Program Director of the Rehab in Chiang Mai, an addiction treatment centre in northern Thailand, and I'd like to talk about interventions. An intervention is an orchestrated attempt or a process that's performed by a concerned group, perhaps a family or a friendship group or an employer, upon a person that they suspect has significant addiction problems that's causing harm to themselves and others. So interventions are performed by professional interventionists or counsellors who are trained in doing interventions. Interventions usually take one of two broadly different approaches, a confrontational approach or an invitational approach. The confrontational approach is arguably the much more widely used method, presumably because it's more effective. A lot of people would argue about that, but addiction is a disease which impairs reasoning processes in the people that are suffering from it, and so challenging, confronting processes are not unusual in having to deal with addicts and treat them. So most interventionists and counsellors will perform a confrontational intervention approach. So this is how it will go. The family will procure the services of a professional interventionist or a counsellor. They will enter a therapeutic relationship with that counsellor or interventionist first and talk about the affected family member and how it is affecting them. Then at some point the counsellor and interventionist will instruct the family or loved ones or employer to write a letter outlining the consequences that the addict has caused them. They will then invite the addict themselves to a meeting, and this will be something of an ambush, is often the word that's used, where the addict is unsuspecting. They think they're turning up for a family lunch or a get-together, and waiting for them is the family and the counsellor stroke interventionist. The family will then begin to read their letters to the addict, detailing all of the consequences, all of the harms and hurt that the addict has caused them. At the end of reading their letters, they will then outline for the addict a list of behaviours which for them are now unacceptable and that they will no longer tolerate. And they will start to outline their leverage. Now, leverage is the consequences which you as a family group or concerned group will apply to the addict if they do not seek professional help, and that will usually involve going to an inpatient addiction treatment centre. And that leverage could consist of things like cutting off finances if possible. Perhaps the addict might be putting their children in danger, in which case custody might be an issue. Or even on a lower level, the family might just say, we are no longer prepared to support you and prop you up and dust you down every time you get into trouble. So if you don't do these things, that's what's going to happen. Then there will be a list of options of residential treatment centres for the addict to go to immediately. So that's what an intervention is. 80% of the time, if it's well performed, the addict can be surprisingly, not necessarily open, but will comply, especially if the leverage is quite strong. So you don't have to wait for the addict to cause tremendously awful circumstances and harms through their behaviour. You can intervene in their addiction if you can find the leverage and a good professional counsellor or interventionist to help you.